All right. Hello. Um, I see some people are joining. I'm gonna be honest. I've been having, unfortunately, I've been having some issues with my microphone lately. So please let me know. You know, you have the same issues, and you can hear me well, or you cannot hear me well, or whatever. All right, people coming in. Hello, Poland reporting. Hello, Poland. I can hear you. Hi. Nice. More people flooding in. Let's see. Let's give it a minute. Ba-ba. Okay. All right. More people coming in. Currently, audio is very fine. Sounds good. Sounds good. We can hear well. Very nice. Okay. So, all right. Hello, everyone. I I feel like every month I start the live stream by kind of like apologizing for being like tired and like destroyed and whatnot. So I'll do it again. But yeah, yeah. Basically, I came back from Adepticon. I was at Adepticon. There'll be a slide about it. Um, Last weekend, and I came back, and I'm relatively jet lagged. So yeah, I might sound a little tired and destroyed, but I'm all here and I'm all ready for the stream. Let me get some stuff ready. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. We have a bunch of people coming. Hello, everyone. Yes, like I was saying, I'm a little bit. Somebody said you always say you'll keep it short and then give us a 3-hour stream. I think this one might actually a bit shorter than usual, so I'll try and be quick. We don't have a ton of stuff, but important stuff. Whatever. Okay, I see a lot of people are joining in, so let's just start with the stream. So, all right, first things first. Okay, OPR Stream Giveaway. So, we did this last stream, so I thought, why not? Let's do it again this stream. So, what I'm going to do is post a link, and I shall also pin it. Oh god, they changed their interface in such a way that now there's a button in front of the pin. Okay, bam. And now it should be pinned at the top. All right. So I posted a message and I pinned it. It's basically a form. Fill it in, and you are going to get some free minis for being here. Thank you very much for joining. I think it's a nice little thing. And so whatever. Back and forth. Enjoy the minis. They're cool. Somebody asked, are those the same as last month? Yes, they're the same as last month. They're basically like every 6 months or so we have some minis that we create for like it's like special occasions. So to give out at a live stream, they're part of the painting contest. We give them away at cons. It's basically just like some new poses from some existing minis that look cool. They're a little bit special, and that we can give away in different places. And then after 6 months. A new batch is released, and these go to the store, so anybody that wants them can get them in case they missed them. So yeah, somebody asked, what happened to your room? I think last stream I already spoke about this, but basically I'm moving around different places right now, so I will be in this wonderful office for a while, and eventually I'm going to be moving somewhere else. There's construction; it's a big mess, but you might see the background change a couple times over the course of the year. Let's see how it goes. All right, cool. Whoo. All right, so that was the first slide. I'm already tired. No. Okay, let's go. So yeah, sign up for a thing, whatever. Get a free mini. All right, so OPR at Adepticon. So yes, so last week/weekend we were available. We were at Adepticon. We were part of the Chronicle Cards booth. We didn't have an entire booth for ourselves. We just had like a little corner of their booth, and they were kind enough to provide us with a little space where we could put our stuff. So if you were there, cool. If you were not there, well, here you can see a little bit about it. So we had some free minis for you to pick up. It's the same minis that you can get by following the link. So literally the thing I was just talking about, right? Like, it's cool minis that we give away. We had a little cabinet with a bunch of minis. You can see some really cool painted minis all over the place. At the bottom, you can see there's some duchies and some saurians, and there's some dwarves and some elves. Then there is, I think, some duchies again with some saurians, and at the top, you actually have the heroes from Secrets of the Shao. And we were giving away some cards, the minis, of course, and we walked around the con. It was my first time at Adepticon, which was very interesting. The first convention I ever went to was Spiel, which was last year, so in October, so about like 6 months ago. And Spiel is very different. So Spiel is like, it's huge, like it's enormous. I think there's like 150,000 people at Spiel. But Spiel is very much, it's family oriented. It's all about board games, and there's like a little corner for wargaming, which is cool. But it's basically it's an enormous convention with like a small space for wargaming. And Adepticon is kind of like the opposite. So it's, for those that haven't been there, it's much smaller. Well, okay, it's like this. It has a vendor hall, which is pretty small compared to the one in Spiel, of course. But you have everybody there. Like, literally every company that's related to wargaming is there. Every wargaming YouTuber that is there. It's literally like the entirety of wargaming, like, in one place. And that's like a small exhibitor hall. And then you have so many enormous rooms filled with people playing the games. That there, at any time, there were literally thousands of players playing around you, and millions of miniatures there. Like, I can't imagine how many miniatures were in that place. Just like it was incredible. And yeah, it was really cool. We walked around a bunch. We met a couple cool people. And we saw some events. I got to see the some tournaments for like different games. There was like painting contests and all that stuff. And it was very cool. So I actually this was kind of crazy. Like, I actually walked around, and some fans came up to me, and they knew my face, and they like shook my hands. And they're like, "Oh my god, it's an honor to meet you." And I was like, "Me? Like, just this guy?" So that was really weird. But it was fun. So thank you for coming out and like shaking my hand and making me happy. And yeah, actually, so I have another slide here. Actually, there was a crew that organized Grimdark Future Grinder. I think that's what they called it, an OPR Grinder. I think it was a Grimdark Future Grinder, and basically was like a big table. I think it was like 4v4, like 4 players v4 players, like playing in parallel or whatever. No, actually, they were playing like one side does one activation and the other side whatever. It was a 4v4. Everybody could bring their armies. There were already some armies there, and they basically were like teaching people the game. You could join in, play, and it ran for like a couple of hours, and it was really cool. I was really happy to meet the organizers and everybody there, and yeah, just watch people play. And it's I don't know, it's a cool experience. So thank you to the organizers. I was very happy to see an OPR event at Adepticon, and actually, like, so I feel that. Well, okay, I'll get to that later. Anyway, so I got to walk around, meet a bunch of people, and actually, like, I got a little bit of time to play some demos, and so I was very happy that I got to meet the crew from Mini Wargaming, and we got together, and they taught me how to play their new game, Ravage Star, which was very interesting. I will describe it as like an in between, maybe like an OPR and a 40k. It really did feel like, okay, if you're somebody that is like sick and tired of 40k, but you're looking for something a little bit more complex than OPR for, like, maybe like a longer game or like a weekend or whatever. Honestly, this game is for you. Like, I came into it like knowing nothing about it, and then I saw it and I was like, wow, this is very cool. And the minis were cool, and it was nice meeting the crew, and yeah, things are happening. So that was really cool. But yeah, it was Adepticon was bizarre. Walking around, there were all of these like famous YouTubers there. but they're just people too, right? And everybody was there, like every big YouTuber that you know, and even small YouTuber that you know, was there, and oh, I don't know, it was strange, it was cool. Something that I definitely learned is that like next year I would be I would be happy to actually have a booth, maybe even have a bigger booth, who knows, maybe even have a big booth. But I think the coolest thing would be to organize some OPR gaming events. Like, maybe have a couple events for the different games. Maybe have some events showing off some of the newer games. Maybe have like they do like permanent events where like it's literally just running 24/7. Maybe something like that, or maybe like a big tournament. Um, I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure what we would do, but I think that would be really, really amazing to have like a bunch of OPR events happening at Adepticon. Because as much as Adepticon has the exhibitor spot, and that's very cool, and people get to go there, and you can teach them about your games and maybe like sell them a box or whatever. I feel like the gaming part of Adepticon is really why Adepticon exists, and it's cool, and I hope it continues existing because um yeah, it was I don't know, it was unlike anything I've ever seen before, and that was very, very cool. Yeah, so Adepticon just finished. If you managed to pass by, thank you very much. I hope I shook your hand. If you were looking for me and couldn't find me, sorry. I don't know if there's like an easier way to be found. But well, so if you're in the US, this was your chance to meet me. But now, next up, we are going to be at UKGE in the UK. So May 31st to June 2nd, we are going to have an actual booth at UKG. Quite a sizable booth, from what I understand. I'm not the one that's directly organizing the booth, but from what I've seen, the plans are pretty neat. There's going to be a crew there. I'm definitely going to be there, but I'll be walking around as well. There's going to be maybe some of our artists, so you can meet some of our artists as well. And then yeah, demoing the games, showing how to play. Um, who knows? Maybe I don't know. And maybe I don't know, stuff, free minis, other things. I don't want to spoil. Who knows? Maybe we can run a tournament. I don't know. We will see. Everything is still kind of still up in the air. But yes, if you are in the EU or in the UK, might be even easier. Definitely come check us out at UKGE, May 31st to June 2nd. I see somebody asked, will we be somewhere in Germany this year for a convention? Most likely, yes. Most likely, we will be at, like, I'm 99.9 infinite percent sure that we will be at Spiel, which happens in the first week of October, I think. Yeah, you know what? I can check it out right now. So Spiel 2024. It's happening from the 3rd to the 6th of October. Yes. So if you're in Germany, or if you're coming for Spiel anyway, or whatever, we'll be there as well. But yeah, for now the focus is on UKG. That's our next big convention. It's kind of crazy how until last year we were like at no conventions, and now all of a sudden we've been to a bunch of conventions. Like we had someone represent us at TMX. We were at Spiel. We had someone go to Gamma. I don't know how much Gamma matters for the regular consumers. We went to Adepticon. Now we're going to UKGE. Then we're gonna go to Spiel again. Like, it's a lot, and I can imagine that depending on how things go, yeah, probably that's gonna be life from now. Like at least 3 conventions a year. But who knows? Anyway, exciting stuff. Come check us out at UKGE. All right, let's move on. What else we got? So, okay, we released some new short stories this month on Patreon. So, if you are interested in OPR lore and missions, go check them out on Patreon. You just need to be on the tier 1 subscription, so the $5 tier, to get access to these short stories and the previous short stories. We have Faith in the Hive, which is a Grimdark story about the alien hives. And again, I feel like I'm saying this every time. I'm not really sure how much I want to spoil it. But Faith in the Hive is it's cool. God, I feel like I always say the same things. Yeah, maybe like leave me a comment. Like whenever I talk about short stories, like what do you want me to say? Do you want me to give you like a recap of the story? Do you want me to give you like a little teaser? Should I just mention the stories and move on? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you guys want. I'm not sure how much I want to give away, and I'm not sure how many spoilers you want. But anyway, so Faith in the Hive, an Alien Hive story, and then we have a Demon's Bond, a fantasy change demons story. I actually think that's a very fun story and kind of funny and whatever. Um, and yeah, okay. So we have new short stories. So we're 3 months into 2024. We already have 6 short stories released. We already released a new narrative campaign, which is like way more. Like just this is like way more narrative content that we released over the last like 3 years. But there is more because so, April 9th, finally, the Grimdark Future World Book is coming out. So, for those that don't know what the Grimdark Future World Book is, basically, the Grimdark Future World Book is going to be I think it's like 64, 5-page booklet filled with lore, filled with art that gives you the lowdown on everything that you need to know about the Grimdark Future universe as a whole. It doesn't go super specific about like every single faction and stuff like that. It's really meant to more give you an idea of like, okay, like where does this story begin? Kind of like what happens to get us where we are now? How does this world work? How do people communicate? How do they travel? How what does it look like? What's the map like? How is war fought? Where is peace, if any? What are all the different spheres that people keep talking about? And all of these questions are going to be answered in the World Book. Again, release date April 9th, which is actually really close to our anniversary. Anniversary is our April 14th. And yeah, so the plan right now. So the plan right now is that we're going to release the World Book. Probably the first like 10 pages or so. We're going to release them for free, and the other like 50 plus pages of like lore and art are going to be paid. Right now, we're definitely launching digital. We're looking into physical. Unfortunately, there's some logistical nightmare issues with the physical thing right now, and so I'm not sure about it happening. It will definitely happen at some point. I'm not sure if it's going to happen on April 9th. We're really pending on things, and it's kind of last minute and whatever. But yes, eventually it's going to come in physical. It's definitely coming in digital. Check it out. It's going to be awesome. And yeah, and I guess okay. I was actually talking about this with someone today. So I want to kind of give like I want to hype it up, but I also want to like keep expectations in check. Like, yes, the Grimdark Future World Book tells you everything you need to know about Grimdark Future, but it doesn't go super in depth about each individual faction. So if you're like, okay, I'm not really interested about the Grimdark universe as a whole, I just want to know exactly about the Jackals and everything about the Jackals. Well, this book is not going to give you everything about the Jackals. It will actually give you quite a bit about the Jackals because they're involved in a couple of things about the world. But yeah, it's more about the whole world as a whole. And yeah, this is going to be awesome. This is the first of many other books that are coming. Yeah, and I don't want to spoiler too much. So yeah, wait for the release on April 9th, and we will reveal more as we get there. Cool. Okay, so that's the Grim Future World Book. Oh, I see some people ask some stuff that maybe just important to understand is this is a lore book. This is not a rule book. So everything in here is lore. It's stories. It's lore. It's illustrations. It's maps. It's all that sort of stuff. If you're looking for game rules, this is not a rule book. I'm just clarifying because I see somebody maybe being a little confused in the comments. Oh yeah, so April 9th, mark the date. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Oh, sorry. I see you backtracking. Okay, I see a couple of people asking some questions about like prices and like discounts and physical and all that stuff. I don't have anything to reveal about that yet. It's still all being, put together. But as soon as we have it all figured out, we will let you know, of course. And then on April 9th, you'll be able to get it, and then you'll see the final price and everything. As always, you can expect that whatever OPR does, it's quite affordable. So this is not going to be $60 for a PDF. Yeah, that's crazy to me. So don't worry about that. But I would expect it to be more than a regular rule book. So it's gonna be more than $5, but definitely not something crazy. And then the physical we'll have to see whenever it comes, whenever it's ready. And yeah, cool. All right, now let's move on. So next thing is the Age of Fantasy Quest update. So if you're a patron, you have already received you can already go and download the update to Age of Fantasy Quest. If you're not a patron and you're interested in Quest, definitely subscribe to check it out. So for those that don't know, Age of Fantasy Quest is a co-op/skirmish, solo/co-op skirmish adventure game that I've been working on for like almost 2 years now. In various stop and go moments and whatnot. And finally this year, I'm actually like pushing forward and getting this thing done, getting this game done and releasing it, and it's gonna be awesome. So right now, I'm gonna say like the core rules are basically almost 99% completed. The campaign rules are like 99% completed, and we are now moving on to starting to implement everything in the app so that you can actually start playtesting the game. But since I know that there's a lot of people that are very curious about Age of Fantasy Quest, I have already released this month the basically a preview of the core rules and the campaign builder. So unfortunately, because the app is not ready yet, you cannot playtest it. Unfortunately, but you can go check it out. You can get ready. You can read the rules. You can post your feedback. You can post your questions. You can check out the new layout. So actually, like we are slowly implementing a new layout for all of our books, a new fonts, new logos, and all that stuff. And actually, you can see here, like you can see a snippet of the Age of Fantasy Quest cover art. So yeah, cool cover art, new logos, new layouts inside the books, colors, diagrams, all the cool stuff. And yeah, so right now you can get it on Patreon. Like I said, $5 on Patreon. Go check it out and get a million other things, of course. But remember, this is just a preview. The hero creation is not here. The enemy creation is not here. So you cannot actually play it, but you can go and check it out, read the whole thing, support us. And as soon as I have something that you can actually play with, I will let you know. I will share it with you, and then you can get into it. But yes, I'm very excited about Quest. Whilst I don't have a definitive release date right now, my aim is to have the game done by mid-year, so hopefully a June, July release, something like that. But yes, somebody asked, will this design style be implemented on the other rulebook's one pages? Yes. So there will be there will be an update to all of the rules. So all of the core rules, all of the advanced rules, all of the basic beginner guides, all of the what else is going to be updated? Sorry, brain fart. All of the little expansions that are free are going to be updated. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to update the mission cards to the new style yet, but that will happen as soon as we have it. We are also looking into what else? Whatever. Everything that we can update, we will update. There are some things we may not immediately update, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we will be able to immediately update like the mission packs and gang wars. I have to look into it. Whatever. But over time, everything is getting updated. I see somebody ask about the black and white photocopy friendly version. So the beginner's guide and the advanced rulebook and all the big books, they're going to be full color. We're not going to be providing them in black and white anymore. Whereas the core rules come with a version that is basically like the core rules are mostly black and white friendly. They have like a small snippet at the top which has a bit of art, so that's going to be a little bit more ink intensive. But I don't know how much I want to go into this, but okay. Without doing too many spoilery do's, we have heard you loud and clear. We know that people are excited about one page rules, and they're excited about the rules, and they're excited about how we keep the games balanced and how we update them and all that stuff. But we have also noticed that there is a bit of a difference in how the community is perceiving frequent updates or update frequency for the core rules compared to how it was before. So basically, like for almost like 10 years, OPR, like I was updating the core rules like on the weekly or on the monthly. It was happening all the time. And that was not a problem. Nobody complained. But now that we have like a huge audience, even the like we switched from like monthly updates to updates that are every quarter, and even then we are seeing people complain about it. So something that I'm currently kind of like working on, mulling about, playing about, whatever, is to basically try and switch to have books only come with yearly updates. uh, this is not sure. Please don't quote me on this, whatever. But basically, I'm thinking of switching to like a yearly update, which would mean that if you want to print it at home, and you're worried about ink and all that stuff that you have to reprint all the time, well, you won't have to worry about it anymore because you're gonna have to print once a year. So print one page once a year. I think you can afford a little bit of ink. And if you want to print the full rule books, the beginner's guide, the advanced rule book, and you want to print those out and print them in black and white or full color, again, you would have to only do that once a year. So I hope that the $5 that it's going to cost you to do that is worth it compared to the $60 that you have to pay for other rule books. But also, we may or may not be looking into finally actually having physical books that you can buy. So rule books. So again, I'm not sure. This is all up in the air, but if things work out the way I want to work out them, if things work out the way I want them to work out, we will we will actually provide physical rule books that are maybe like updated every year, something like that. And again, like I generally don't want to. I generally want the core rules to become stable for a long time, and then the updates come in the army. So we would be switching to yearly updates for the the books, the core books, whatever. But the armies would continue with the 3 month updates plus whatever random updates are to like fix bugs and all that type of stuff. And when there's like a random new unit that we decide to make models for and stuff like that, then we will update those. So yes, stable core rules which last for a long time, and then quarterly updates to the quarterly and more frequent updates to the actual units. And this was meant to be about Quest anyway. Yes, Age of Fantasy Quest. Go check it out. Okay, then let's move on. What else we got? Okay, so Army Forge updates are coming soon. So this is something we're updating Army Forge soon with a new feature that people have been asking about for a long time, which is community lists. So you can see it here in like the middle of the screen. So you have create new list. That's the button that you know and love. Like you click on that, you create a new list. And then once you've created your list, you can go to the menu and you can basically save and sync the list, and you can share it with the community. So what you do is you click on share with the community, you give the list a title, you put a little description of like, what is this list even about? And then it goes to the community. And then next time somebody wants to go and check out an army, so for instance, here they go to Alien Hives, instead of clicking on create new list, what they can do is they can click on community list. And when they click on community lists, you will have this is a test, so whatever. You will have the actual community list. So this kind of looks like creator armies on our Army Forge, but this is actually for community lists. So on the left side, you can see all of the lists. You'll be able to have a couple of filters. You'll be able to have a couple of sorters. And then on the right side, you will be able to upvote, downvote the lists. You'll be able to check out like how the list is made, um, and then um, yeah, basically you'll be able to play somebody else's list immediately. You'll also be able to. This is not the final version. We're currently working on a way to basically like save the list. So if you're like, hey, like I want list to be saved and to be in my when you go on the home screen, there's a spot where you can see all your lists. You can save it and have it there for like quick access. Or if you want, you can click on modify this list, and basically we'll create a copy of this list, and then you can actually go in there and be like, okay, I like this list, but maybe I don't have this many assault grunts, so I'll remove a unit of assault grunts and put a unit of shooter grunts because that's the models you have, and then you can modify it. This is honestly like pretty simple. This is honestly pretty simple stuff, but I think pretty core to what we're trying to do with OPR. This is something that people have been asking for a long time. I think this will be especially helpful for beginners because people will be able to create like beginner friendly lists, get upvotes, and then be like, hey, like whenever somebody asks like, oh my god, like I'm starting out, I need I'm trying to make 1,000 points Alien Hives list, what should I do, where should I start? Then you can just be like, hey, here's a link to a cool Alien Hives list, and you can check it out, or they can come here and browse and see all the lists. Like I said, this screen is not final, so there's still stuff to be added. I see Adam is in the chat. So Adam, just a quick thing. I see that you have popularity and I see that you have forest organization. Maybe we should have a filter for points values here as well, so people can select like the point value that they're looking for. Not sure if it's relevant, but I think that might be helpful. And yeah, and thank you, Adam, for mentioning this. So and the lists are also being saved to your account. So right now, when you're using Army Forge on your PC and then you're using it on your phone, what's happening is that your lists are being saved locally. So you will make a list on your PC, and then you go to your phone and you'll be like, oh damn, like this is a different list, and then you'll have to share a link with yourself, blah blah. Forget all that. The lists are now going to be saved to your account, which means that you will be able to have your lists made on your computer and they'll be automatically available on your phone, or the other way around. And yeah, Army Forge, cool stuff. We keep updating it. It's going to be awesome. And then yes, I'll once it's out, like once this update is out, please provide feedback. We are kind of creating it, in a weird way, almost like for ourselves. So like, just with our ideas, but as we get more feedback, we will add new features, we will modify things, and so on and so forth. And yeah, this is. I see people already putting suggestions, stuff like. This is to me the beginning of the cool new things that we'll be able to do with Army Forge. We're looking at some really cool features that are going to be very helpful. They're not ready yet, and honestly, they're too far for me to like even start talking about what they are. But let me say that there is a lot more coming to Army Forge than just building lists like you're used to, but other stuff. Whew. Okay, so I think that's it with the studio updates. Let me see. Yes. Okay. So that's it with the studio updates. We are now going to start talking about minis and stuff like that. Yeah, Jesus, so much stuff. All right, let's just get into it. So let's take a look at the minis that you are going to get in April. So first things first, we're going to start with the Vampiric Undead. And for the Vampiric Undead, you are going to get, first off, you're going to get the Skeleton Watch. So Skeleton Watch is a new unit for the Vampiric Undead. We added it when we decided to make our own line of Vampiric Undead. And yeah, people have always been complaining about the fact that the Vampiric Undead had no ranged units. So we said, hey, why don't we add 2 new ranged units? So on the one side, we added the Drained Archers. And here we're adding the Skeleton Watch, which is basically like crossbow skellies, whatever. Skeletons with crossbows. So, the idea in our Vampiric Undead is that the skeletons are more elite, so we didn't want them to just like shoot bows. I don't know why bows felt kind of newbie, and so crossbow felt a bit more elite, a bit cooler. And yeah, I really like this unit. They have like these little hoods that kind of give them a little rangery vibe. Honestly, like these guys are gonna make for really cool Age of Fantasy Quest like heroes and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, so first thing you get is the skeleton watch. Then you are also going to get you can already kind of peek it there. You're also going to get, so looking on the left, you are going to get the bat horse. So the bat horse is a unit of 3 models. These are basically kind of like elite bat horse. They're like T3 units. They're big and tough. They're pretty strong. I think they can fly, and I think they have like the reap rule. I don't remember, like maybe the bait rule. I'm not sure. Um, Anyway, they're pretty cool. I like their design. Essentially, they are vampires that have transformed. They're kind of like were vampires. Does that make sense? Were bats. Anyway, yeah, I think they came out really cool. I like that they look like, compared to the ghoul horrors, which are like all hunched down and they look like all mangly and whatever. These guys look a little bit more elite. They're a bit stronger. Like they're standing straighter. They have all of these like chains around them. They have all these items on their belt and stuff like that, which make them look um, pretty badass actually. Okay, on the right, on the right side, you can then see the Deathly Chariot. So the Deathly Chariot is actually a new unit as well, or well, it's a modification of an old unit to be kind of like a new unit. But basically, we have this concept of having all these wagons and chariots for the vampiric undead, that each one should kind of carry a different hero. And here you have the Deathly Chariot, which is basically the chariot that carries the oh god, I forgot his name. The skeleton commander. So yeah, this is the first wagon I think that we have that's carried by skeleton horses, and actually the skeleton horses that you can see here are basically kind of give you a bit of a preview of like the skeleton horses that are coming later. This angle doesn't show it off perfectly, honestly, but you have the skeleton commander in the back with his big like halberd thing, and he's kind of like cheering on, and then you have a guy with like a whip for the horses, and then actually, so if you saw it from the other side, there's actually another skeleton guard with like a big like lance or spear thing, and he's kind of like spearing the enemy. So yeah, that's gonna be a very cool unit as well. And then what else are we gonna get? So on the top left, yes, on the top left you can see the Bat Dragon. Really cool model. Comes with a bunch of different options. So you have the option to have a rider. You have the option to have a rider with a bear head. You have the option to have a rider with a sort of like falcon mask head. You have the option to have the head of the Bat Dragon just bare. You have the option to have the head of the Bat Dragon with a falcon mask, which honestly looks hilarious, and I really love it. I'm very happy with how that turned out. And then you also have the option to not have any rider on the back. So if you just want to run the Bat Dragon by itself, you can do that too. Yeah, I think it looks really, really cool. On the right side, unfortunately, work in progress model. You cannot see it yet because the model wasn't finished by the time we needed to make the renders. You are going to have the skeleton commander on. I forget the name. On Deathly Steed or something like that, or Deathly Beast, Death Beast. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Terror Beast, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. You're going to get another cool like champion hero on a creature. You can kind of see it here from the silhouette. It's this sort of like bone, like a mini bone dragon. Yes, Abyssal. It's the Abyssal Beast. Wing Terror and Abyssal Beast. Yes. Thank you, Thomas, for saying Abyssal Beast. Steed. Whatever. Anyway, it's gonna be a cool model. I don't have it here yet, so let's move on. All right, so that's the Vampiric Undead for fantasy, and then what are you going to get for sci-fi? So for sci-fi, so this is the second month of the High of Fleets. I'm very happy to. Okay, so I know. My God, I'm happy with how this army turned out, and I was just waiting for this moment because last month we released the first wave of the High of Fleets, and we have this concept in the High of Fleets where units that are kind of like more elite or more magic-y or more shooty have these big ropes and skirts, which make them look really heavy. And then units that are more like on their feet, assault units and melee units, don't have them and have like bare legs. And that kind of gives like a really cool, you have this really cool like diversification in the army. But in the first month, we didn't have any assault units, so people were like, "Oh my god, they only have robes. Like, isn't that too heavy?" Blah blah blah. And I was just waiting, like, you wait, because then you're gonna actually see what they look like without the robes. So anyway, we're having a version without the robes coming. So what are you getting this month? So at the bottom, kind of everywhere at the bottom, you can see the acolytes. So the acolytes are basically groups of they're basically, so the acolytes are above an apprentice. So sorry, in the high elf fleets, you have all of these magical attuned people, elves. And at the lowest level, you have the apprentices. The apprentices are just starting out, and they're kind of relegated to being like vehicle crew. They're kind of like magical psychic vehicle crew. And you saw an apprentice in the protectors from last month. Then you have the acolytes, and the acolytes are basically a step in between. They're not oracles yet. Oracle is like the top dog version. They're kind of like in the middle, and they're acolytes, so they're still on their way up. And anyway, here you can see the acolytes. They come with a bunch of different options. They have pistols, they have energy swords, they have these sort of like energy spears, male heads, female heads, helmet heads, all that stuff. Then what you can also see here is you can see two of the high oracles. So on the left, you can see a high oracle with the cool mask helmet and like shooting a sort of like energy ball. And then on the right, you can see one without the mask and without the energy ball. There is, of course, male head, female head, and the head with the helmet. Um, the staff, also, you can see that this staff has like this energy ball in the middle, and I'm pretty sure you're also going to get an alternate version without any energy ball in the middle. So for those that don't like the energy ball, and actually, this unit comes like this hero comes with a really cool buddy, which is not being shown here, unfortunately, but it's very very cute. You're gonna love it. Like, you're gonna love it. And then what else are you gonna get? You're also going to get, so if you look at okay, this is not perfect. So sorry, I'm gonna skip down again. So you're also going to get another hero, which is the noble. So this is like the basic noble. So if you're just buying a noble with no upgrades, or you want to give it like different whatever different options you want, whatever, you can get a noble. So if you look above it's kind of like above top center leftish. You can see the noble. The noble basically has like a different backpack, a big cape, a really cool helmet with like these sort of like feathered wings, let's say, and comes with this really cool halberd, axe halberd thing. And then now here on the right side, you can see another version of it without the helmet. So there's a male version, female version, and then a helmet version as well. So if you're looking for a hero that's a bit more noble, get the noble. Then you're also going to get the strikers. So if the protectors are the main line ranged infantry of the high elves, the strikers are the main line melee units of the high elf fleets. So mainline melee infantry, whatever. They come with a bunch of stuff. They come with I think it's 6 different poses. So they come with 5 combat poses. Those have they have pistols. They have close combat weapons. Some of them can switch the close combat weapons to have energy swords. Then, of course, they come with male heads, female heads, helmeted, whatever. Then you also get a special weapons pose where you can put a flamer or a fusion rifle. And on top of that, my god, so much stuff. You're also going to get some stealth turrets. Here you can see, that they don't have robes, so they look much lighter than the other guys. And yeah, I think they look really, really cool. Okay, sorry. I was talking about the little shield turret. So if you look here on the left, the models that are not blacked out, you can see the shield turret. So you can see the open version and the closed version. You can print either one and enjoy it. The rules are the same for both, of course. There's no difference. And basically, yeah, we just the idea here is that as the strikers run around, they have this little like shield thing running behind them that basically generates a stealth bubble and gives them the stealth rule. And then we decided to make an open version as well, so you could see what's on the inside. But it's my assumption that usually this would be closed, and then like it's just generating the bubble. But I'm not sure. Maybe yeah, whatever. So yeah. So what else? Yes, and then of course we have the blacked out models. Unfortunately, again, models that were not ready for renders by the time we had to make the poster thing. And this is going to be the high elf fleet artillery. So imagine the turret from the protectors, and now make it big, give it big ass guns, and that's your high elf fleet artillery. It comes with different weapon options. I think comes with like 3 different weapon options. It has a really cool like chassis and legs and stuff like that. And then it comes with 3 different. It comes with 3 different. It comes with 3 different crew poses. Sorry, brain fart. 3 different crew poses. They're very cool. Actually, there is one of them smoking a pipe. Actually, oh, you get a little pipe smoking buddy, which is absolutely adorable. So yeah, different crew, different guns, helmets, no helmets, female, male. All this stuff. That's really cool. Okay, cool. So that's the high elf fleets for this month. So for April. And then let's take a look at the legendary. Okay, ooh. So the legendary release for this month. Or for next month. This is going to be the Plague Demon's Soul Demon, but it's the epic version. So the epic Soul Demon. It's the epic Soul Demon of Plague. So the epic Soul Demon of Plague comes with a cool base. This is a legendary, of course. They always come like with these cool bases. Actually comes with like a lot of little buddies that are like running around, which I think are super cute. And yeah, you can see here like this, has like this really organic base. You can see its big legs. And now let's move on a bit forward to see. Okay, yeah, you can see he comes with like a new cannon, this really big quadruple cannon. Comes with like a big hammer. This is actually, now that I notice, it's not the latest version of the model. There's a bit more detail on this and on the inside of the hammer. But whatever. Comes with a big cannon, big hammer. And let's see the head. Yeah, and then you can see it's kind of like shouting, almost like a sort of King Kong thing. And yeah, big head. Of course, this is a plague. This is an epic version, so all the details, the heads, the body, everything is different from the regular version. And then in the back, unfortunately, of course, this is a front pose, render, whatever. In the back, it's actually like filled with like these sort of like hammock sacks things. And all of those are filled with mushrooms. They're filled with buddies doing different thing. Here you can see on the top right a buddy like holding a mushroom like so yeah, very cool. With this, we have now released 3 out of the 4 epic soul demons. We have the epic soul demon of lust coming in a few months. It's not going to be next month, just because of like scheduling conflicts. But it's going to come soon. Don't worry, we are not forgetting about the lust version. But there's going to be a cool legendary next month. Okay, cool. So that's the legendary preview. Now let's move on to the concept art. So first off, let's start with the Vampiric Undead concept. So we are now slowly. So these are now the previews for May. Wait, am I crazy? I think May is the last month of the Vampiric Undead, right? Hold on, let me check my schedule. Yeah, that's right. Man, time really flies. That is crazy. Like the Vampiric Undead were actually quite a long release for OPR. It's like a 7-month release, I think. Yeah, and it's already almost over. Wow, time flies. Anyway, so May is the last month of the Vampiric Undead. So you are going to get, we're basically filling out everything that's left. So you're going to get the Skeleton Champion on Skeletal Steed. You can see here, it's really cool. You have basically like the Skeletal Steed with all of this armor and like this cool, these cool details on the cloth and stuff like that. He also has like this cool like helmet thing that I think is really cool. I feel like I'm just keep saying cool. Anyway, so you're going to get him, and then you're going to get a unit for him. I'm going to show it in a second. Then you are going to get the Werewolf Champion. This guy, let me tell you, this guy is really cool. So you're going to get werewolves, which are already very cool, but here you're going to get the champion, who's like even bigger. He has like this super cool cape. He has this sort of like iron jaw. He comes with different weapons. You cannot see them here, but he comes with a big ass sword. He comes with like a claw fist. And the idea for us with the werewolves was that when we decided to make werewolves, we didn't want them to look too wild. We didn't want it to look. I like the idea of werewolves that you transform into a werewolf and you're completely like a beast, but we wanted to kind of, because our vampiric undead are meant to be a bit more noble, a bit more elite, a bit more royal, a bit more all of that stuff. We wanted to kind of elevate the werewolves. So the werewolves are meant to be, a bit more in control and therefore also like a bit more human, so to say. And so you can see this here in the champion, which is like the most evolved of them, like the most civilized of them, let's say. And so he's wearing a cape. He has this sort of like pants thing. He's actually using weapons. He's not using his claws. And yeah, very cool model. I've seen it already done. I saw like a cool 360 shot of it. And yeah, this is gonna be hella cool. And okay, then you are going to get. So then you're going to get the skeleton knights. So the skeleton knights are skeletons on skeleton knights on horseback. And yeah, this unit comes with everything you expect from knights by now. 3 poses. It comes with lances. I think they come with lances and with great weapons. They come with a command group, so sergeant, musician, and standard. Sergeant, musician, and standard. Yeah. They come with. I'm not sure if they come with different weapon options. I think to keep them like really elite, we only gave them an option with like the helmet. I don't think there is an unhelmeted version. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. They have cool modified shields. The champion has like a cool shield. Yeah, it's just an overall like really solid and cool. Oh my god, I keep saying cool. A really solid unit of skeleton knights. Then you're going to get the werewolves. So, like I said, the werewolves are a little bit more civilized than usual. Actually, looking at the final models, this sketch here doesn't represent them the best, but whatever. They come with different. You're basically going to get 3 big guys. They have different head options. They have different weapon options, so they can come with. So I think they come with the option for claws, and they definitely also come with the option for swords. And I think they may also come with the option for heavy weapons like flails, but honestly, do not quote me on that one. I'm trying to look at the STLs right now to see what they come with. So they come with claws. Okay, they come with claws and with swords. And yeah, again, just a really solid, tough unit that's gonna go around the field and butcher everything. I think actually, like, I'm actually, you know what? Let me take a note here. I probably need to review some of the weapon options on the vampiric undead, because I think in the rules a lot of the stuff that has now become a lot of the stuff that was just like claws before now has become like swords and stuff like that. For example, you can see it here in the werewolves. So I need to take a closer look at that. Sorry. Okay. And then let's move on to the next unit. Oh, then you're going to get the Stitch Butcher. So this was a unit that originally was not meant to be in the game. There is currently no stats for them, but I'm working on them. They're going to come out very soon. But we were working on the one of the legendaries that actually I'm about to show you. We were working on the legendaries, and we work on the legendaries. Usually the way it starts is that we make like a big sketch with like a bunch of different ideas of really cool legendaries, and then we pick one and then we go and develop that one. And one of the ideas that we had there was to have like a really big, like giant, almost like soul demon size, fat, like stitched, monster. And the thing is, like, it looked cool, but it didn't feel right that there's all these small stitch that are really skinny and stuff like that. And then it kind of just didn't make sense that all of a sudden they would have like this huge stitched guy. Yeah, it just didn't work. And then we said like, oh my god, this is such a cool idea, and it would really work well if we had a regular unit of these like butchers. And then we said, well, why not? Let's just make it. And so yeah, we're making it. So the Stitch Butcher is basically yet another T3 unit in the army. Let's be honest, there's a lot of T3s. But yeah, they're basically big fat zombies that are kind of like all mangled and dismembered. They're meant to have like these sacks filled with body parts on their back and be kind of like really grotesque. And I think they come with cleavers and flails. It's somewhere at the bottom, but yeah, I think they come with cleavers and flails. And yeah, I think this is gonna be a really cool unit. Honestly, this was just a happy accident. So yeah. And then what are you also going to get? I think the last thing you're going to get is okay, you're going to get the vampire zombie dragon. So the zombie dragon, yeah, this is the last unit for the army. So the zombie dragon is a big ass zombie dragon. I think it looks really cool. It's gonna be bigger than the bat dragon. It's more imposing as well. Like the bat dragon was meant to be like really low and kind of like skulky, and this guy's meant to be like big and imposing, but still have that kind of awkwardness of like the long neck. He's essentially like the evolution of the winged terror. Like if you took the winged terror and like made it dragon size, that's basically who he is. And that's actually really interesting. Like now that we're coming to the very end, if you look at the army as a whole, you can now see like which unit is related to which. So I don't want to spoil too much, but just one example, you can see that the hunting dog is related to the hunting wolves, is related to the werewolves, is related to the werewolf lord, whatever, the werewolf champion, right? And then you can see, for instance, here you have the winged terror, which is related to the zombie dragon, which is related to other things. Yeah, so very cool. Big dragon. And by the way, this is not the last dragon to arrive. So I showed this off in the last stream. I didn't put it here now. But there is another big ass dragon coming for the Vampiric Undead, which is going to be the Skeleton Dragon. It's going to be a loyalty reward. Okay, cool. And then what else? Oh my god, I forgot that we still have to even go through the High Elf Fleet concepts. But honestly, we're pretty good on time. So I maybe actually should be slowing down, but you know what? I'll keep it fast. Anyway, so what are you going to get for the High Elf fleets in May? So first off, you're going to get the Stinger Lord. So I'm going to show you the Stingers in a moment. But basically, the Stingers are meant to be sort of stealthy, sort of sneaky, scouting, like really fast melee attackers. They have like dual blades, like dual arm blades that they just strike with. The champion, the noble comes also with like this sort of like stinger tail. That's sort of like a weird, like a scorpion tail. An homage. And actually, we kind of like the way that we designed them. They looked a little bit like Predator. That was kind of like one of the inspirations. So we actually gave them all like big dreadlocks for the unhelmeted version. And yeah, I think this guy is going to be really, really cool. And then so that's the Stinger Lord. Then Noble, Stinger Noble. Then you're also going to get the Scorcher Noble. So again, we're going to see the Scorchers in a second. And basically the concept of the Scorchers is that they're like these big flamer guys, and we thought, okay, so what would really feel right? Because one of the things that doesn't really sit well with me with the way that a lot of people have been designing space elves, let's say, is that a lot of the units kind of all look the same. They're basically the same dudes with like small differences. And we said, like, how do we make our units feel really unique? Like, I feel like when you look at a Scorcher, it needs to be very unique compared to a Stinger, for example. And so here you can see the vibe that we went with. So the Scorchers basically have these big fiery looking mains. They have, since they're like a shooty unit, they have like these big capes. They're meant to be like really heavy and have like this really heavy vibe. And yeah, they have these backpacks that have like these tubes, which look like exhaust tubes, so like exhaust pipes. I think it would be really cool if somebody modeled it that actually like there's smoke coming out. And yeah, so the noble version comes with this flamer axe. I don't think it's even in the rules, but I'm gonna add it to the rules, and it's basically a melee weapon that is also a flamer, which I think is pretty badass. So you're gonna get these two heroes. Then what else are you gonna get? You're also going to get the actual Stingers. So the Stingers, you can see it here. Here you can see the comparison between the Stinger Noble and the Stinger. So again, fast, sneaky unit. You can expect their poses to be like really low, They have the dual arm blades. They can have like the shard pistol. They come with helmets, no helmets. Sorry, with hoods, no hoods. And when they don't have the hood, they have like these like sort of like mouth masks with the cornrows, or the dreadlocks or whatever. In this version, it still shows you that they have like this tail, but the tail is only reserved for the noble. And there's other stuff. They have different weapon upgrades. They have like this special like stinger blade that they can have, and I think one of them can be wielding like dual wielding like energy swords. Um, so yeah, cool stingers, and then we have the actual Scorchers. So like I was saying, the Scorchers have like this big mane, this big heavy armor, and then oh yeah, here you can see the backpack closer. So the backpack that has these like exhaust pipes, and then it actually carries like two balls of like fuel, and then they come with I think they come with heavy flamers and fusion rifles. And then one of them comes with like a special, I think it's a special pose that comes with something called like a fusion pike, which is basically a sort of, it almost looks like a staff that at the end has a torch. There is a real weapon that looks like this. I don't know what it's called, but it's I think it's is it maybe like one of those like ancient Chinese weapons? Basically, it's like a stick, and at the end of the stick there is like the part that shoots. Um, and whatever. It looks really cool. I love the model. Um, and yeah. What else do you get? You're also going to get, yes, the final thing that you're going to get for them in May is the tank. This design of the tank is a bit old, like in this concept. We since changed it in the 3D, so these spikes or wings at the back are not going to be anywhere near as long. They're going to be about the same size as the ones from the APC. In fact, this vehicle is going to be about the same size as the APC, or maybe even the exact same size. Would need to check. Anyway, because we felt that once we built it with the really wide wings, it ended up looking like a plane, and also it looked really like unwieldy. Like, are you gonna fly with this through the battlefield and just chop people's ankles off? Like, it didn't feel quite right. So yeah, that's all the Hio fleet for May. Now let's look into the last concept preview, which is okay, so this is the legendary concept for May. Woo! So this one is going to be really cool. So I think this is called, let me remember, I think we called it Lord on Stitched Horde. Anyway, basically, the idea behind this is, you cannot see it there at the bottom right because my face is covering it, but basically the idea is that you have a crypt, and out of this crypt comes a huge wave of stitched zombies, and it's carrying out a casket with a vampire lord that basically is like emerging from it. Honestly, like, we just started working on this model. If it comes out the way that I hope it comes out, this is going to be incredible, because it's just going to be like this flood of zombies, this big wave of zombies, and then at the top, like, and they're just going to be messy and crawling over each other and have cute little like weird details all over. And then at the top, you have the really badass like casket and the vampire lord coming out with his big sword, just like ready to chop some heads. And then at the bottom, actually, yeah, you're gonna have some Empire soldiers like running off. Honestly, yeah, this looks really, really cool. I actually just realized, like, I don't have rules for this. It's meant to be a diorama. I'm gonna look into if maybe I can do some rules for this, because I think people are going to enjoy it. But yeah, who knows? Let me see about that. I'll write it down. So, Lord on Zombie Horde rules ? Okay, so I took a note for that. All right. So, okay, this actually went faster than I thought. We actually finished everything in an hour. Very cool. So now I'm going to go to the Q&A questions that people submitted, whatever, before whatever. At the end of each stream, we provide a link where people can submit their questions. So now I'm going to go over to those questions. There's not too many, so if you have your own questions, since we also have a bit of time, post them in the chat. I'm going to make sure to try and answer everyone's question that are in the chat. And yeah, don't forget also to go in and watch. Go grab the free minis. And yeah, I'm gonna open that tab, so I'm not gonna be able to see the chat once I look at that. But then I'll be back and I'll be checking all the questions. Okay, so question number 1. Why is the world of Grimdark future neither grim nor dark? I guess grim is in the eye of the beholder. Would it be possible to rework aircraft rules or remove them entirely? Okay, so remove them entirely, no. Lots of people have aircraft models. We want to make aircraft models, and I think they're cool. Reworking, I'm going to be honest, almost every time that we are updating the rules, we are slightly tweaking the aircraft rules. It's just one of those things that not everybody's going to be happy about. Some people don't want them at all. Some people want them to have strafing runs. Some people want them to be a permanent thing that circles on the battlefield. It's just one of those things where you either like the way we do them, like we have them play, or you just house rule that they play the way that you wish they played. Because yeah, we just can't satisfy everyone. It just is what it is. Are buddies going to be a thing in Grimdark future? If so, can you share what type of adorable rapscallions will be accompanying which faction? They are, and they already. I mean, they were, and they already are. Like we know the high elves have the squirrels, the dwarves have the weird armadillo turtles. The robot legions are going to get an update where we add buddies, and it's going to be like the little bots that they have, which are really cute. The alien hives already have buddies, which are like the little swarmers. Which other faction? Let me try and think. The Blessed Sisters already got their buddies as well, which are like the little sisters. The Star Host are eventually going to get updated with buddies, which are going to be like basically like the swarm critters as well. Hold on, trying to look into it. Trying to look at the list of all the factions that were released. Okay, I spoke to hives, robots, sisters. The Dynasty are going to get buddies. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but probably they're going to be like drone buddies ish. The jackals are going to get buddies. They're going to be cute. I don't want to spoil too much. So yes, buddies are coming for Grimdark as well. Why are the rules on combining army books part of the tournament guidelines and not force organization? Because outside of tournaments, you kind of get to do whatever you want. So you can mix armies however you want, even using force org. Within the tournament guidelines, yes, there is a limit to how you can mix them, but outside of the tournament guidelines, you can mix them however you want. That's why there is no limitation in the core rules, because there's not meant to be a limitation in the core rules. Are there future plans for small-scale rule sets for 10mm fantasy and 6mm sci-fi? Yes. I've been working on them for a long time. Right now I have other priorities, but I'm pretty sure that the moment I finish Quest, I'm going to be working on those. Is there any way to view or buy compilations of concept art for complete armies? Unfortunately, a lot. This is also something that people ask us all the time, like, hey, when's the art book coming out? When's the art book coming out? We would love to make it, but okay, there's basically two versions of this product. So we can make really simple art books that are like, I don't know, maybe like yearly little magazines, and they could be cool, but I'm gonna be honest, like producing those is going to be a lot of work, between collecting all the art, arranging it, doing the layout, having someone write all the text, interviewing all the various people that were involved in the project to get the juicy info. All that stuff is going to be a lot of work. And I'm going to be honest, I think we have other priorities, and it sounds like a lot of work for like a very small yearly magazine or something. So instead, what I think is more realistic that we'll do is that we'll wait a couple of years, and then, every 5 years or something, we'll make like a big book that is properly made, that we invest some good money into, that you can buy physically, and it becomes like the classic art book that you find for video games or something like that, where it's like you get a coffee table style book that it's big and thick and filled with full color art, and it looks really amazing. And it's not just showing the concept art, it's also showing the full color art. Maybe it shows also the minis. Maybe we can talk about the process of making the minis, all that stuff. So yeah, one day. Once the world books are released, how frequently are you hoping to release the faction books? I am hoping to release them. Okay, I'm hoping to release, let's say, 4 faction books a year. That would be ideal. I think if we can get to the point where we're releasing a new faction book every quarter, that sounds amazing. Of course, it's going to take some time to get there. Right now, the plan is to finish the world books for Grimdark and for fantasy, and then to release 2 faction books, one for fantasy and one for sci-fi. Um, let's say by max early to mid next year, and then hopefully get into the cycle of making more and releasing more. The thing is, like, a faction book, it's a lot of work. It's like the book is like at least 64 pages. Actually, it's more. They're probably like 75 plus pages, because we talk about the history, the origins, we talk about the we show off the maps, we have a historic timeline, we talk about their culture, we talk about their religions, we talk about their language, we talk about their currency, about how they write, how they live, how's their society, how's their religion. Like, we talk about a lot of things, and then after that we're still talking about like the armies and army compositions, and we're talking about technology, their various weapons and equipment. And then on top of that, we do like a unit by unit overview, where like you're going to get every single unit that's in the game is going to get like a nice little snippet of lore that kind of gives you a bit of more of an insight on them. So it's quite a big book with like a lot of text. So just the writing part is going to be quite intensive. And then on top of that, it's the art. Like, we need to get a lot of art made. We're currently looking in the ways of like how do we make art more efficiently? How do we make sure that we can get something that looks really high quality, that is really interesting, without going overboard, without spending too much time on it? It's something to be balanced. So yeah, my hope is for a year, but yeah, who knows? Will the faction like Demons, Battle Brother, and Havoc Brother get army books for each detachment, or Havoc God, or a single book that covers all Battle Brothers and Demons? I think what we would probably do is have one book for the Battle Brothers, and then have one book for all Battle Brother detachments. And same thing, I could imagine that we would have one book for the Havoc Brothers, and then one book for all the Havoc Brother attachments. About the Demons, I'm not sure. Like, there is a part of me that says that maybe there isn't enough content to warrant 4 different books. But on the other hand, I also think that the demons kind of deserve each to have their own book. Like, with how deep our lore goes for the demons, I'm not sure. Demons, unclear. Did you ever think about switching to D10s or even D12s? No. I mean, people suggest it all the time. I'm not interested in changing dice. It's very simple. D6s are what everybody has laying at home. OPR is meant to be super accessible. So, the idea that I had of OPR is like, you literally have a couple of toys laying around. You open up your old box of Monopoly and find a couple of D6s in there, and you can start playing. You get a measuring tape from IKEA, whatever, and or like a literal, like a ruler, like a school ruler, and you can start playing. That's the idea of OPR. The moment you change the dice from D6 to something else, you just killed all accessibility. Okay, so that's it. That was all the questions there. So I'm going to go back to the chat and grab some questions from the chat. So, okay. First question, HDF when? Sooner than you might think. I don't know. Tease, but maybe no tease. Clear. I have a question. Will Grimdark Future have a narrative campaign like the one from Age of Fantasy? Yes. There are plans for Grimdark Future fantasy narrative campaigns. All games are going to get narrative campaigns. Age of Fantasy, Skirmish, Grimdark Future, Firefight. Regiments is not going to get a dedicated thing, because you can just use the Age of Fantasy campaigns with regiments. And eventually, yeah, we're going to start releasing quest campaigns, Warfleets campaigns, all sorts of campaigns. Can it be the 9th of April already? Unfortunately not. Did your experience at Adepticon give you any ideas or inspiration for the OPR volunteer program? Honestly, nothing new that we didn't already know. We want to work on the Vanguard program. I think it's called the Vanguard program. No, wait. Did we change it? Sorry. Whatever. I remember we were changing the name. The volunteer program, we want to work on it, but the problem is not ideas. The problem is time and resources and all that stuff. What will be the next OPR exclusive campaign? Uh, the next OPR exclusive only OPR campaign. I guess you mean like frontiers and stuff like that. Um, I'm not sure. I can check the schedule. I think this shouldn't be too big of a spoiler. Uh, Sorry, I'm just checking here. Yeah, I think I already mentioned this, so I'm not going to mention a date, but I think the next campaign will be a Grimdark Future Firefight mission pack. So a mission pack. I mean, you have all. I mean, or many of you probably have already had access to the existing mission packs, which are really cool, but they're kind of bare bones. So our idea is we're going to grab the existing mission packs and we're going to rework them. We're going to add a bunch of lore to them. We're going to rework the missions a little bit. We're going to add new heroes to them, and basically, we're going to make them a really cool thing. One of the big goals for us with OPR in 2024 and going forward is to make sure that we push the narrative of our games and the unique lore and all that stuff. And so making a product that has no lore attached to it feels a bit meh at this point. So we want to go back and grab those mission packs and turn them into something really cool. And then they will be re-released probably as a Frontiers. Would there be a problem if I use the Halloween army in the writing competition? Um, we don't have a Halloween army, so in the writing jams, ideally you need to base yourself off of OPR, army lore and whatever. So you shouldn't use a different one. Will there be any support for Grimdark future war fleets, meaning rules updates, models, and perhaps a campaign? Yes, in the future there will be. We are already working on the back end. So basically, when we pushed Grimdark Future War Fleets into the app, we kind of had to hack it a bit so that we could get it out to you guys sooner rather than later. And so basically, there was only a front end version, and all the back end is kind of like hard coded, let's say. And so now we're working on a back end so that we can have an Army Forge studio for war fleets with a point calculator, which means that at some point the rules are going to be updated and there's actually the point values are going to change because there's going to be an actual point calculation behind the whole system. And then you will be able to create your own fleets, which is going to be really cool. And then, yes, eventually there's going to be models and campaigns. Again, unfortunately, it's a restriction of time. Question about translations. Would you like to accept the help of the community? There are many fans who don't speak or read English easily. Unfortunately, not at this moment. It's a much, much more complex thing than you may imagine. So just if we translated the rules, I feel like I keep answering this question. Just if we translated the rules for the game, so not even the armies, we're talking about like dozens of documents, thousands of pages, maybe not thousands, hundreds of pages. If we then want to translate the armies, it's a mess. I know some people suggested that we should only translate the core rules into other languages, and maybe we can make it happen. There is a small problem with that, though, which is that the whole concept of one page rules is that it's one page of rules. And many languages are not going to allow the formatting. Are going to be too long to allow the formatting to actually fit on one page. And maybe that's a problem as well. I'm not sure. Is your next Grimdark Future faction after Hive Fleet set in stone yet? Yes. Unless something changes, yes. Would it be possible to add the name of each unit in the renders on my mini factory? Sometimes I don't know which download I need. We not really. We don't want to add unit names to the renders. Unfortunately, like if there was an easy way, like a streamlined way to me just for me to just like push a button and have this thing updated, then maybe we could do stuff like that. But this is like by this point, the amount of renders we have is insane. There's thousands and thousands of them. Any change that we want to make is like it's a huge commitment to do it, and we have to be 100% sure about it. Are you going to work on figures separated in pieces in order to glue kit bash them easily? No, that's not our plan. What we have found through our community and through lots of surveys and chats with the community is that the reality is that like 80% or 90% of people always only print the combined versions anyway. And so yeah, like it's why cut the models into 1,000 bits when anyway they're not going to be able to be reposed, and if then the community is not going to print them anyway. It's like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work between designing them for it, cutting them, exporting the files, supporting the files, the file sizes. Like it's a huge amount of work to do that. One thing that we would like to do, or that we might do, is provide. I think maybe I already spoiled this at some point. Whatever. We are going to provide sets of bits that you can use to like put on bases and stuff like that. Um, that's something we would like to do. They're going to come with like the terrain pieces, sets, whatever. And eventually, I suppose, once we start doing faction specific terrain sets, maybe we can release like boxes of bits. Um, Question about translations. Okay, already answered this one. A while ago there was mention of basing bits. Okay, I already spoke about that. So yes, they're coming. You ask in the mid to long future. Honestly, in the short future, I think there's going to be basing bits from the. I'm checking the schedule right now. There's going to be basing bits from the forest terrain set in the next like 3 to 6 months max. The Ratmen have buddies. That is correct. Demonic Snail Cavalry. No. Will the Star Host be getting Deinonychus Rider models in a future update? Yes, we're definitely going to make Deinonychus models at some point. It's one of the things that people ask us every day. It's just a matter of time. What about anything new for Warfleets? I think I've answered this already. I know the models for 15mm will take time, but what about rules and army books? They will also take time because we have a million other priorities. Could someone do a voiceover video of one of the short stories and post it on YouTube with attribution, or would you consider that theft? I think this goes beyond. Like, these sort of questions start falling into a legal territory that goes beyond whatever I think is the right or the whatever thing. Like, I don't know exactly how this works. So I think maybe you would have to send an email to info@onepagerules, and we would have to talk to our lawyers just to make sure. I don't think it should be a problem. Like, in my mind, I don't see why it would be a problem, but maybe there's something there about IP law that infringes. I don't know. Do you plan to create new missions for Grimdark and Age of Fantasy? We are releasing new missions for Grimdark and Age of Fantasy every month, and now they come with short stories, so even better. Yearly mission packs, that would be cool. We're already doing that. We already have 4 mission packs you can go grab. There's 4 other mission packs they're going to put together, and like I said, they're all going to be bundled with different things. Really, what's happening is that the way that gaming content is being released is just slightly changing. So instead of you only buying mission packs and getting missions through mission packs, we are going to be releasing missions, for example, through narrative campaigns. Because if you really wanted to, you can grab Secrets of Tishal and just say like, well, this is a 10 mission pack. You can, if you want to, completely ignore the story and the fluff and everything and just play those as 10 individual missions that you find interesting. And so the mission packs are going to give you more missions, and then all the quest stuff is going to give you more missions. And whatever else we do that has missions is going to give you more missions. I know a wonderful artist who has done a lot of work around other sci-fi tabletop games, and I'm sure he would jump at the chance for some paid work for OPR. I don't know if that's a question, but the answer is tell them to send their portfolio to jobs@onepagerules.com. Will we bring back some old game system like Grimdark Future Arena and Age of Fantasy Arena? No. Not for now, not for the foreseeable future, possibly not ever. We have other priorities, and like, okay, arena or an arena-like game is a cool idea for like a box set. Like, I can imagine. Okay, I'm imagining that. Let's say we wanted to bring OPR to a more casual board gamey audience. What we could do is grab some hex boards, Make some really cool hex boards, of course. Grab some minis and create a little set, which is like imagine an Age of Fantasy skirmish hex board starter set, and that could be sort of like Age of Fantasy Arena, but without all the extra rules and stuff like that. Maybe, I'm not sure. Are permanent spells for Age of Fantasy ever planned in the future? I suppose you mean like spells that you put on a table and they're actual miniatures and move around. It's a cool idea. I would like to put it in the game at some point, but I have no plans for it yet. Have you ever thought about going physical with OPR models for maybe a starter set by using Siocast? Really cool to bright. So we thought about it. We are looking into a lot of things lately, and we are definitely also looking into physical prints. So we know that 3D printing has a limited audience, and not everybody can. Not everybody wants to have a 3D printer. Not everybody can have a 3D printer. And so on and so forth. And so we are looking into physical right now. We already have print on demand via only games. We are looking into new ways to provide minis for you in a physical form. And then yes, maybe in the future we will make like a fully, a full box set. Maybe do like a Kickstarter for it or GameFound or whatever, where it's like, hey, go get the 2-player starter set for Grimdark Future. Here's all the models, and then we Siocast them, or we print them in China, or I'm not sure. And then you can get the starter set, and then ideally we would also provide a pledge where game stores can buy like 10 boxes or 20 boxes or whatever of the thing at a time, and then who knows, maybe one day the product will be on shelves. What are your thoughts about the wiki in the future once many of the lore books are out? Would you want the wiki updated with lore or keep them in the books? So, interesting. So I think, honestly, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I think honestly, at some point in the future, we are probably going to axe the OPR supported community wiki, and we're going to switch back to a fully community supported community wiki made on fandom or whatever people want, because there's a bit of a mess there, and then responsibility and all of that stuff. So we don't really want to have to deal with that. We are actually going to be putting a lot of new lore, never revealed before lore on our website. We're actually reworking our website to include more lore and lore sections and stuff like that. And at that point, I feel like, if you have a community wiki where people want to either put in the lore from the copying the lore from the website, or maybe explain some of the lore a bit, could be cool. I'm not sure. Ideally, of course, don't share paid content for free, right? Any update on Grimdark Future Commander? No. Do you plan to create some matte designs that we can buy and print with specific size? Not right now. Will the vampire, skeleton, dragon, and the new titan be a new titan unit with stats? Yes. Okay, cool. All right, I think I've answered all the questions. We're actually exactly 1 hour and 30 minutes into this, which is our target time. And I actually got to answer a bunch of community questions, so that's very cool. All right, thank you everybody for coming to the stream. I'm going to set the next stream for... I'm not sure. So right now I'm gonna ballpark it at April 25th. I'm gonna ballpark it at April 25th, but I may actually be traveling that week. So for now, let's put on April 25th. Worst case, we're going to have to move it to May 2nd, but not sure. For now, April 25th. That's the date. Okay, that's it. Sorry. Thank you everybody for coming. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope you enjoyed everything. Don't forget, Grimdark Future World Book coming out April 9th. Yeah, get hype. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. Have a good night.